I want to ask you first, out the gate, whether we're talking about Bob or any of your subs, like what normally do you do?
I think, you know what? There's no normal. Let's start off right there.
Yeah.
Even that word in itself is not, really shouldn't be, is not part of my equation. Everyone's so different. That's the one thing with this job. It is so different and it's so unique like that you never know what people are going to say to you. You never know what people are going to, request of you. Usually their fetishes are pretty specific. They know what they want. Even as far out as it may be, they have something that's pretty definite. Like I have a guy who has a cot fetish, and he likes. You have to find him first of all, right? He likes to be caught, but he brings you jeans. His thing is the blue turtleneck, the blue jeans, blue tights, and he wears tights and he hides in your house, and you got to try to find him, and arrest him. And his thing is the tights. He wears two pairs of them, two pairs of blue tights, one with the crotch cut out, and then the other one like so that he can put it over him, and wear it. But it's very specific. And I've been seeing him 15 years. And I know that other girls have seen him as well. And his fetish never changes. That's what he wants. That's him.
But the object is always to humiliate?
I think it's more of the anticipation with him, because you have to find him, right? He hides, like he'll hide under a bed. Stuff like that. So I think for him, it's, getting caught and that excitement. Because, I'm sure if you were, getting busted. I heard this song in the car about this,
Yeah.
If you were getting busted and, oh my God, that absolute sense of complete scare and having nothing that you can do about it, as people rush in and, you get taken at. That's such an element of surprise, and I think that's probably it. I mean, with the roller coaster, that you're gonna drop, right? You know that, and you kind of can, as it's going up inch by inch by inch. So in that way, the anticipation for it is you're already bracing yourself for it, right? So you already know you're gonna go down. And with this, he's got the element of surprise for him is how long will it take you to find him, or will you be able to find him, which is obvious, unless you're living in a castle, the chances are you kind of will. But
Right.
That's for him, that's what he likes, right?
Yeah.
So I think that with every fetish, and there's just, yes, you can pinpoint exactly what they want, or they will tell you exactly what they want, so that this fantasy in their mind is completely recreated. Sometimes the people come to you and say, do whatever you want. I'm in your hands. But I always ask them, you know what? I'm not going to stick my feet in your face if that's not what you like. Like there's still walls of this box or whatever that you want to say, that your fantasy gets put into, that, you have to try to construct around, right? You have to know a starting point. Right? Every circle has a starting point. You can make it as big as you want to make it, but it has to have a starting point.
Yeah.
So I think really, it's hard to say. It's not a specifically easily answered question.
How did you get into it? Into becoming a dominatrix?
I had a boyfriend that was a male escort.
Yeah.
And he used to strip at Remington's, and he would see male clients, right? Like he would dance privately. Sorry. And he took me on this call, like, to meet this guy that was one of his clients that wanted to bring a girl into it. And it was really amazing. The guy's name was Alex. He picked us up. He was in his BMW convertible. Like, I'll never forget that. He looked at us, smiled, his big, beautiful eyes. I was like, oh my God, this guy is like totally hot. I couldn't believe it. He was just so hot. We got to his place. He kind of lives sort of like, I think, like steals in something, okay?
Right.
I would say in a modest apartment, right? We go up there, but his apartment is anything but modest. He's in the penthouse apartment. He's got like art on the walls that were like hundreds of thousands of dollars. His stereo at the time, because I was working in audio, I knew the speakers were probably at least $15,000 a speaker.
Wow.
Yeah, he had some seriously nice stuff.
Right.
The apartment didn't quite mesh with what was in the walls of the apartment. So I knew something was kind of up with this guy. All right, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this after. So he comes back. It was a 3-bedroom apartment. He comes back and he's dressed up in a black sequin skirt, high heels, tiara, white tight T-shirt, and he comes in and he's like, Sebastian, because that was the name of my boyfriend. He goes, "How do I look? Am I sexy?" And he's like kind of feeling himself up and, showing his crotch. He's in lace panties. I'm thinking, okay, wow, where's this going?
Right.
Knock on the door happens. These 2 black transsexual hookers come in, and basically this party began with a couple of substances at the time that might have been maybe appropriate for the situation. Actually, it was my first time trying G and my only time.
Okay.
So anyways, we had this night that was just like guy, girl, guy. It was just absolutely crazy.
Wow.
Like, and myself and one of the hookers just sat on the couch while these other 3 people basically did whatever we told them to do and created this whole living live porn in front of my eyes. And then we, my boyfriend and I, we used to do like live sex, right? You could watch or you could join in, but you could join in with Ken. Right. This is the days when I was like really experimenting. Okay.
Right.
And I realized that I didn't have to do anything, even with Ken. I could just turn around and sit there and say, "Hey, do this, do this, do this," because I kind of used to like guy on guy. Well, still do, like guy on guy porn, or guy going down on a guy. If they're hot, they have to be hot. That's the key.
Right.
Like, they can't look like. They can't be big ugly bears. Like,
Okay.
they have to be hot. Like
Right.
maybe Brad Pitt and say Johnny Depp or something.
Okay.
And this is weird stuff. And I got a chance to do it in a time when fetish was still kink was still underground. But at the same token, it was really surfacing, and you had the ability to go to places where you could see this stuff, or that was a little bit more free, as opposed to say going to Friends downtown, some family restaurant.
Right.
You had bars at the time that put on fetish events. Like you had the Limelight. You had
wow. Yeah, that brings back memories.
Yeah,
I
the
remember
Limelight.
that
Yeah,
club.
actually, the girl the lady that used to do the Madame X is actually a really good friend of mine.
Wow, I remember that club.
Yeah, that's right. But you had fetish night. You had it at the Big Bop, or
Wow,
you
Big Bop,
had
yeah.
the once a month, and they had music. They had music. They brought in bands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was cool. It wasn't just. It was about dressing up, and they kind of had these fun sort of rooms, but it was also music. It was a scene, right? So I had the ability to live my some of my private life in my public life and in work, and then eventually it just all of a sudden became one.
So go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got a lot of questions, but I guess the first one we can start on is there any lines you won't cross? I mean, like, in terms of fetishes, like, if somebody came to you and was like, "I want you to do this," is there anything that you've experienced so far where you've been like, "Whoa"?
Well, I've tried everything, okay? I have. The ones that got me, that I knew I didn't want to do, because I knew, like, being a dominatrix, if you can't, take what you give out, then that should be the point for yourself that, you shouldn't go any harder as a dom. If you can't take a bullwhip, then don't turn around and wield one, right? Mm. So I tried scat. I had this guy wanted me to shit in a cup, and we went. I remember I met him at a motel, on Kingston Road, and I shit in this clear plastic cup, and he ate it like with a spoon. Wow. It really grossed me out. flat out. It was disgusting.
But the idea was
I
that
couldn't-
you would do
I
that,
couldn't-
and you would watch him do that. That was part of the whole.
That was and I had to feed it to him, and he kind of put it in his mouth, and he sort of like gagged a bit. Oh, I'm just thinking about it. Sorry, just made me kind of. It wasn't for me. It's not a fetish I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
And I tried to once shit on somebody, but I couldn't do it. I got fright. I can't do it. Like it's like my private time. I take a magazine. I take my phone in there. You know, play Dungeons and Dragons, do stuff like that.
Right.
Like that's my personal time. Couldn't do it. It was for $1,500 too. It was like, just come on. Couldn't do it, Phil. I get asked that, and I don't do it. Golden showers, I don't do anymore because I feel that you shouldn't be, as a dom, you should really keep your private parts on your own, unless perhaps maybe you're blindfolding them, or I pee in a cup and they can drink it.
Mm-hmm.
A champagne glass. I like to keep it classy.
So, Murray, what do you think? Like in all your years of experience, what is it about humiliation that? I guess there's two parts to this question that you enjoy doing, and also that your subs enjoy experiencing.
Sorry, just repeat that again.
So, humiliation. What in your years of experience have you learned about why people enjoy being humiliated, and also why you enjoy administering it?
Why they like it? They're wired differently.
Okay.
They get off and they get hard when you're beating them, right? Like it's a different type of mechanism and a different type of wiring. You have to think at one point we were animals. We have a different instinct. So sometimes our instinct has either split for pleasure to mean pain. Some of us have obviously been domesticated by our preferences and like pleasure, the soft touch. So it's just a matter of a different wiring. And why do I like administering it? It's just the same thing. It's a different wiring for me as well. I like to see many different things. I like to experience many different things, and I think that it's fun. It's a job that you get to totally create something every day. It's like that sub is your plasticine, and you get to mold it any way you want. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is in that way.
Right. And in the quote unquote normal lives of your subs, what kind of people are they? Like, what they do? Do they have families?
Oh yeah.
So there are people that you might live next door to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I will tell you, the guy that asked me to shit on him was half black. That was I only have seen 2 black guys actually in the entire time that I've been working. They obviously like a totally different thing. But they are, I could squeeze them in a mold for sure. Middle-aged white businessmen.
Wow.
Yeah. I find the Asians, it's pretty big in Asia, but they kind of like sex, and they like very young looking girls. And if they do see a dom, they usually like to go for the blonde hair because to them that's exotic. All right. So they usually tend to go very fair.
Right. I mean,
A lot of Russians.
yeah. But what is
Yeah.
it? What's the thing with testicles? Why do they like? I mean, to me, I have to tell you, like, that's frightening to have my testicles crushed, or to ever think of that. So, what is it that they enjoy? I mean, is it something in their past they're trying to relive, or have you figured it out?
I think it's a type of punishment. It's a mutilation. That's what defines you as a man, is your penis size, right? So it's, by crushing it and taking that away from you, it's basically it's mutilating your genitals, right?
Right.
It's gender mutilation is flat out what it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's a severe form of punishment upon yourself. So maybe perhaps you had dirty thoughts or something like that, or you got a hard on when your kid's teacher bent over. It's a way of punishing yourself, like flogging. Remember how? Well, I'm sure you don't remember, but the Romans would sit down and they would flog themselves and punish them, or the devout Catholics.
Yeah.
Right. So, I would definitely think that it's a form of, I've been bad and I need to like cleanse this out of my body. It's kind it's pretty severe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does one go about crushing testicles? Like, is there a preferred method, or is it different for everyone? Or?
I have a box that you put the testicles in. You lie down on the ground, and the box goes on top of you, and then you take the testicle, and you have to twist it, and you pull it through a very thin slot, and it's held in place like this, and you step on it. Right?
Right.
That's one of the easiest ways. I also have something that looks like a vise, and it's clear plastic, and you put the nuts into that, and you just you keep tightening, and it smushes. Wow. So there's a few methods for doing that for sure. And you know the elastics that you get your broccoli on?
Yeah.
They're probably the best circumciser you could probably think about. Yeah.
Which I was going to get to. I mean, I know you do some of that, and we were talking once about castration and things like that. But how do you look at medical manuals, or what is it? How do you figure this out? Is that where it all comes?
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah, that's where.
Oh yeah, I was fascinated by. Okay, some people like dinosaurs. Some people like archaeology. Some people like paleontology. Whatever. Right. For me, I like the archaeology. I like the fact that I want to see where people lived. If I were to go to a museum, I want to go to those living museums and see inside the homes and so forth. So for me, I like the finding out and finding where, how to, looking at the books and stuff like that. And more very hands-on. I would be the type of person that would buy the medical model, right? Because I got into the acupuncture and the body points and so forth. And, I got into that, and I was, buying I bought real dolls that you do the acupuncture on.
Okay.
So that, I'm very hands-on like that. So trial and error.
Right.
And stuff like this box that you're talking about, is that something that would have to be custom made? Or
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And do you use actual medical supplies? Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And those are readily accessible through...
Yeah, some of the things, like my, I buy cauterizers and stuff like that. You do order on the internet, but any medical supply place will sell them. All the needles, all the salines, all the surgical stuff.
Do they ask you questions when you're buying that stuff? Like, what?
No, they'll assume that you're a caregiver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because home care you'd have stuff like that, and they sell things like that. But the cauterizers, I do get them off the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get them from a medical supply place. It's like my crops; they all come from a tack store.
Oh, okay.
They're really what they are. Yeah.
Wow. So when, like, I can't. Is the word you used smush? When you said this is a smush the testicle?
Yeah, smushes them.
So is that something that's irreversible, or is
no, it goes right back. It goes right back. Oh yeah.
Okay.
If you want to not make it so that it's not reversible, you need to come to see me for a little while. It's not something that I'm just about prepared to do. Just just snip you off like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I need to know that this is exactly what you want. Like, this is something that you work for and that you're predetermined to. It's like if someone were to change their gender, like a male to a female, they want them to take hormones, and then you go through a process. It's the same thing. Because once it's gone, it's gone.
Do you ever have it where any of these guys, like, let's say they want to, not go that far, but just like have, they're punished and have their balls crushed for whatever reason. Do you ever have it where, like, the moment that they get themselves in that situation, they're like, whoa, like it changes?
Oh, yeah.
Like they realize how much that hurts or something?
Yeah. I actually had that just less than 2 weeks ago.
Really?
And he goes, even if I scream, he goes, I don't want you to stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. It's like, I'm going to tell you, I lie about my weight. Okay. So you're going to have all of this on you. It's going to hurt. I really warn them, and I tell them that this is not, sometimes things need to stay a fantasy, but that's not, some people it's not the case with. That's,
if somebody like that were to say, like, no matter what, like, don't stop, like, is there any sort of, like, in your own head when they're saying, like, no, please stop, and you're like, but you said that, like, is there ever a moment where you're like, I don't know, like, should I? Or...
Oh, no. You know what? But the one thing with this job and for a dominatrix, experience is really, it's key. You know, it truly is. It's not like, you know, with stripping, they want somebody young and fresh, and, you know, or escorting. I mean, the younger the better, right? Here it's experience, and you know what you're giving to the body. That's like what I told you at the beginning. You should know what you're putting out, right? If you can't take it, then you gotta know where that is. You gotta know what certain things feel like. So yes, there is definitely a point where it's like, okay, I'm calling this session, and that's where the professionalism comes in. It's not just for you to go crazy on that person. You're supposed to, you know, have an element of control about you.
Yeah.
So, or, you know, some dominatrices, they switch, but you don't.
Nope.
Why not?
For my first time when I was starting off getting into this industry, I did sub, and the first guy I saw was absolutely awful. I mean, he hurt my nipples. I thought he was going to rip them off. It wasn't a good experience at all. Maybe I have had a better, you know, dominator, or it could have been different, very different. But from that point, it was like, no, I don't think this, you know, wasn't for me. I wanted to be on the other side. But I did start off with knowing what it was knowing what it was like to sub, because you can't be a good dom if you don't know what it is to be a good sub like that. So you have to, that's just part of an experience that you have to have.
And I mean, I think, like, well, obviously.
Well, my books anyways.
Yeah. I mean, most of the world will never experience, like, the power that's involved in being a dominatrix. So how would you describe that power? Is it a rush? What happens inside the mind?
Well, keep in mind, this is a job for me.
Right.
You know, and I've been doing it a really long time. It's really weird. Like, I just switch without, it's like a switch. I don't even think about it. Do I get a rush off of it? No, because I like what I'm doing and stuff. It's not a thrill for me. It's a passion like that. You know, it's a pleasure.
And I'm assuming that most of your work takes place indoors and private, but sometimes outside.
Oh yeah. I like the outside stuff.
Yeah. Maybe you could tell us the difference, like indoor versus outdoor, or like private versus public humiliation.
Well, I'm gonna answer this question as such. When I started doing this 25 years ago, obviously it was very different. There's no way I could have walked down the street without, you know, with my little pig on the street, without perhaps him getting arrested or us getting stopped. We went to Shoppers and bought makeup, and the makeup artist was very nice. She was very helpful and so forth. We wanted to buy some rouge. I wanted to, you know, to match it to his mask or his eyes, and she was really helpful, and she really liked it, and she spent a lot of time with us. So I think now doing it outside the humiliation, it's a little bit more relaxing. I don't have to necessarily worry about, will we get served at a restaurant? Like, they'll just kind of look at you, and they'll serve you, and they think, okay, what's kind of going on here? And it's totally different. It's just not the same thing as if I would have done it 20 years ago.
And you were doing public stuff back then?
Yeah, but it would have to be either at night, maybe a fetish place, or a Center Island. I would go to Center Island. You had to have it, put it elsewhere for it to be public humiliation. I don't think I'd get down, at Young and Dundas and start beating him with a crop or anything. But
Right.
but I you know what? But it's an experiment I'd like to do, to be honest with you,
Right.
because they have all the people that stand and scream and yell all about Jesus and hand you flyers and
Right.
tell you're gonna die, and well, why can't I turn around and do the exact same thing and do that with my pig on the street and say, this is my religion, and hand out little crops, or read the word of the crop, something. I'd like to see what their reaction would be, what the Satanists or religious fanatics would be,
Right.
if I were to do this
It'd be
on the
quite a
street.
standoff. Actually,
I think
at
it would
that
be quite. It
intersection-
would be
at the
interesting.
intersection, yeah.
It would be interesting. But if you're gonna go out there and preach your views and bring a little, a bullhorn and stuff like that, and be standing there and you're allowed to do it, I think you should be allowed to do this too. We're supposed to be a liberal society. I'd totally do it. 100%.
It's a fair point.
Sorry. It is a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
what I
true,
believe
true.
in.
Yeah.
That's right. Which ties in exactly to what I was going to, the Church of Dom, like the philosophy behind that. How would you describe it?
Well, the philosophy behind it is obviously think openly about everybody, right? That's the thing. Whatever our indifferences are, no matter what, under my roof or under wherever we're preaching and so forth, it doesn't make a difference who you are. It doesn't make a difference if you like to dress up in lace panties. It doesn't make a difference, your difference in any way, shape, or form. Because we're about the person. We're about, the fact that, I hope you are really kinky because I think you're a really unique individual. If we were meant to be all the same, I don't know why we have such an issue with cloning then. Because if we were all meant to be the same and think the same and process anything that we see, learn, or do every day the same, then there should be no interest in taking a bunch of humans and cloning them. There shouldn't be any discussion about that. So that, you can feel like yourself. You can feel like you belong. You can feel like nobody will judge you. That nobody will think, oh my God, he likes to wear his pig mask. I can't stand next to him. Well, what's the difference if somebody, is a Baptist or if somebody, what's the difference? We've put ourselves in such a way that it's ridiculous. Right?
I mean, when you bring out Bob or for public humiliation, like, I'm sure there's a lot of, I don't know, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't even understand the concept of BDSM.
Right.
So what are their reactions when they see this thing? They don't even recognize it as public humiliation. Like, that concept doesn't come to mind. What is happening?
Not
like,
at all.
What are kids doing, like with their parents, like, mommy?
Well, I usually go out during the day. I won't go out, say, at 3 o'clock or something like that because they are children. They let them form their own minds and views. To stick it in their face is I don't think is the right thing. Right. Even though my children grew up with living in a dungeon. My whole house was always done like that.
Yeah.
So they grew up with, these, like with a coffin in there.
Right.
And some of the strangest things. My son his friends come down to the sex show every year. His mom, one of the mothers comes down. These kids grew up in my home and they grew up with, my son's mom, was a dominatrix. I told my family on television for the Discovery Channel. So for me, it's been, I've lived my whole life in it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your kids, but I'm just curious, the public reaction, like, how would you describe, like, the people who are seeing this walking down the street? Like, do they talk to you about it? Or?
They don't get it. They don't ask. They just kind of look and they just kind of walk by and do their whole daily, their whole daily thing that without a care. So maybe somebody might ask, maybe somebody might not, but go to a restaurant, we order food, sit there, have the whole meal. You can have a couple little stares and stuff like that, but.
And Bob, you really enjoy this? Is that part of the? You don't like it? It's so counterintuitive. But he doesn't like it, but he wants you. What was I going to? Oh, so to get back to your family, like how, like I met your kids, or it was your son at least.
My son, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what is their attitude towards what you do, or how do they tell their friends and things like that?
Well, now my kids are married and have kids of their own. Well, I was usually the cool mother.
Right.
I was usually the cool mother, and I was usually the one that they would come over and they would hang out, at my house. They would always, they would always be there. But I'd rather have my son in my home, knowing where he is, than running amok and outside. So I was like, I knew where my son was, right? If you're gonna talk to me or call me a bad mom in any way, you know what? I knew where he was. He was right upstairs. How many of those mothers can say they knew where their kids were? Right? I knew he was safe. I knew when he got home from school. I made it just like Martha Stewart. His dinner was ready. Always lots of food and everything. And some of the friends I would feed because they would go to school with no breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I fed a lot of them. Sometimes some of them would get kicked out. They'd want to, they'd need somewhere to go for a little bit. And yes, I was the mother that they would come and stay there for a little bit. Like I'd rather know where he is. So in that way and so forth, it's they knew. They knew. Yeah, my son helped me one time with a client of mine that's in a wheelchair. I thought that was probably something that maybe I shouldn't have asked him. I was like, can you carry my client in? He was at the sex show too. He comes every year.
Oh, right. No, it's really interesting. Like you defy, I think, what people might consider the stereotype of the dominatrix. It's just evil. You know what I mean? It's just an evil person, because you still have this loving, caring side. You're a mother and a grandmother.
Oh yeah.
Are people often?
I don't eat pork.
Oh,
I don't eat pork or beef. Yeah, I don't eat pork or beef for that reason. I think it's wrong to kill, like that. We have to eat animals because it's just part of our. It's not necessarily part of our diet.
Yeah.
It's the inhumane way of killing them. I think is wrong.
Right. So so you have this sensitive, empathetic side to you. I'm just curious. Do you ever get flack from society, from maybe other women, for example?
All the time.
Because a mother or a woman is not supposed to be doing what you're doing? And how do you handle that?
Oh, yeah. When I went to go and apply for the mayor, and I was I was dressed up in my, dom attire, I guess. My regular attire. Right. I got on the elevator, and the elevator started to close. And myself and my makeup artist, a friend of mine, Haley, it started to close. So she stopped the elevator because the lady goes, can you hold the elevator? So she holds the elevator, and the elevator kind of opens back up, and she looks at us, both of us, like head to toe, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay, thanks." I was like, "Okay, fine." We got the elevator to ourselves, and you gotta wait. Like that's how I look at it. Do I get flack all the time? I keep saying this. You look at me with disrespect. I'm not the one on the floor. It's your husband. I'm the one standing dressed. You're really gonna look at me and be opposed to me? Right. That's funny. I'm wearing all my clothes and I'm standing up. Okay, that's and you're rubbing my feet. Let's look at that. And you paid me to do that. So you have to think about that. So love us or hate us, whatever. Like us, love us, hate us, whatever you want to do. You have an opinion of us one way or the other, and we're like something that you just can't not look away from, right? Everywhere you go and anywhere. In a Tupperware party, when you tell them what you are, people are just automatically attracted to it. Oh, yeah. In such a way that they ask you lots of questions. Yeah. Lots of questions. Guys love the look, right? Because the value of a dom is dressed. It's not undressed. It's dressed, right? I mean, it's a whole look. Right. Right? So...
Absolutely. I mean, and there's so much creativity you can see when you're looking at your dungeon or your setups, like at the sex show, that exhibition. You have your coffee, you have the electrical chair, you have the cars, you have the color schemes, all these things. You could really see there's artistry there. Yeah. Do you feel that distinguishes you from other dominatrices?
Oh, night and day with other dominatrices, for sure. Yeah. My mentor, actually, Patricia Marsha, was the first dungeon I worked at. She's one of the top 5, and her place is absolutely stunning. You can't even believe it. It's just amazing. Like I have, anybody in the world like that you have some beautiful spaces, though. Like, there's some nice places in Germany and so forth where they have really seriously put some effort into it. Right. But they put effort into some of the props that they have. I mean, she's put it into everything, right? Like, even from the baseboard. Her doorknobs are like claws that when you turn them, they creak, and it's just crazy. It's really well done. So the imagination, absolutely 100%. Like, I had someone to, look up to like that. A lot of people, they just don't think. They'll go to IKEA and, buy a white light and say, this is my medical light. Well, I'll actually go out to really get the light from the morgue, from some, from some rundown asylum. I will really do that. Like the funeral parking signs.
Right.
you have to see me running off with them.
So
There's a couple blocks too because we had to stop and pull the car over. I'm like, Mom, stop.
yeah, it's kind of like your dungeon or your setup. It's hard to like.
I do
decide-
something different every year. The cars are
it's
first.
really interesting.
Yeah,
It's
I
like a
mean,
blend of like fun and death because you have the pinks, right? You have the
Yeah.
bright colors, but then you
Yeah.
have the gothic blacks and the skulls and things. Which reminds me,
it's like if you were to go to Barbie's house and Barbie was a mom. It's really what it is, right? But you also have to think about what this job is about. Yours, they're supposed to be there for your amusement, right?
Right.
They're like toys that you mold and things that you really get to play with. Like I was an only child. I had to make all my own friends. My
Right.
mom would buy me board games, and I'd set the board games up and I'd turn the board games, and that's how I
Right.
play.
So
So
also I have to ask, like, you're into electrocution. You have a lot of things that electrocute. You have the prods. You have the pads.
hey, I'm even drinking
Yeah,
cherry.
that's
Did you notice that? See?
So let's see what it means. That actually, I was looking. I saw the purple at the top.
It's pink.
I know.
Coke, that's my favorite pop. Coke Cherry Zero.
Oh wow, I've never seen. This is new.
I don't know how new it is, but I've gotten it. I think I got my first can like last year, so I don't know how. It's hard to get. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to get, but it is really really good. Because I like Dr Pepper, but Dr Pepper, the Dr Pepper still has a little bit of an aftertaste. But that no.
To it. Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm really crafted. Even like I get my embroidery done on my
Yes.
clothes. I get all of it made. My name. Like I think you should go the effort in that
Right.
way. We're supposed to be all about coming to us and constantly being different.
Right. And-
I hate to say this, but look at the place that was. I don't want to say their name, but look at the group that was behind me.
Right.
Right. I mean,
No,
there
as
you
I
go.
said, and I'll say it again and again, I think you had the best exhibit there, hands down. I mean, I walked around that show many times, with the camera. So no, it definitely stands out. And also, which reminds me, you have a team?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
is that for exhibits, or how does that work? Are they always with you, or only on special occasions?
I have a team that I would, if we would do duos and things like that together.
Right.
But we do a lot of shows with, like my girlfriend Sadie that was there, the Sadie Spade.
Right.
She, we did how we kind of met was we did this show with Crude, and they're a Motley Crue tribute band, and they do them right down to a T. Like they
Yes.
look like them. They, and they go the mile. Even though that they're a cover band like that, they go the mile with their performance. And we did this fetish thing with them. I think it was for Shout at the Devil, because they did that album entirely, and we did a whole fetish show with them. I think we're going to do something, I'm pretty sure we are, December 16th. Yeah.
Nice.
We're going to do something pretty unique with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. And my girlfriend, the one that you saw there, we do all the Betty Page stuff.
Right.
Like we actually recreate some of the photos and so forth.
Okay.
And because, you got to give salute to Betty Page, because she really was the one that turned around. She was the Britney Spears, for us, really.
Do you ever, with your crew, go to, visit guys together, or is it just
Yeah.
solely for, yeah?
Yeah. My girlfriend Sadie, I'm actually teaching
Oh, okay.
to do it. Yeah. So
And how does the teaching process? Is it like with the guy?
Yeah.
That's just
of course.
live training.
It's live training. I feel that's the best way to do it, though. That's the thing. And we sit down and we talk as well, because every situation that you're going to get into is different. And what it is really being able to take a hold of the situation the second you get in there. Take your shoes off, be nice, stuff like that. Like, it depends. If I'm going to see them, I will dress there, because a lot of times, they do want to keep it discreet in that way. Even if I go to a hotel room or something, I do that. Like I don't come all done necessarily like that, or things that I can sort of cover and then add to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you do your pleasantries for a little bit, but within a few minutes, like the session, the tone, the mood, it's just changes like that, just like that. And you have to be able to know how to do that. If you can't grab that and that, have that dominance for that, so just, I don't know, let's say 5 minutes into getting there and being pleasant and stuff like that, then it's not going to be a good session. It's going to be really rocky. You're not going to know what to do. So it's about getting hold of that and maintaining the hold and, you know, being able to act upon what they want within what you want to give them.
And then on the way out, does he have to flip that switch back to those pleasantries and be like, well, that was great?
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, well, you know, I always say it was, nice, like, if it was fun, of course, absolutely. And usually they kind of like you to leave right away because they've just exposed themselves in a certain way that, that might not be their daily thing. So for them, I think it's a little awkward. For me, nah, I'm totally... I'm totally like whitewashed in that way. Like it's like, okay, done and over. Like I don't really think about anything at that point like that.
You've seen so much darkness, right, in terms of the well of human desires, right? So I have to ask, like, are there things that you see that still surprise you?
Yeah, all the time.
Like, what are some things that you still don't get? Or that you're shocked to see, whether or not it has anything to do with sex or not. Speeding.
Why do people still speed? Why do people still talk on their phones and that? I don't get that. That gets me. Yeah, I'd definitely have some things that you just gotta think, oh my god. Like, how about some of the girls that can get completely wasted that live downtown in my little quarter there, and I'll be dressed like this, and they'll be very snobby, very snobby, and you'll see them, like, I'll walk my dog, then I'll walk my dog in the evening again, or like, at the beginning of the evening, end of the evening, and you'll see them wasted, skirts up to like here, going home with God knows what, that kind of stuff sort of shocks me.
Right.
Because that way is just like, the two-faced is it's just ridiculous.
Like real danger there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask Barbie about your boyfriend? Yeah, it was just me, or the gentleman who was with you. Like, I was so surprised when I asked him, like, what do you think about all this? He was like, I don't think.
He doesn't.
I don't like the thing. I was very surprised because I would think that someone who's a boyfriend to you or gentleman friend would be like very much like, I accept what Barbie has chosen or what she does, and I'm okay with it. But so I didn't ask. I didn't want to pry any further. I felt like he does not want to talk about this. Is that like an accurate kind of interpretation of?
Yeah. I don't go home and say, hey, guess what? I don't do stuff like that.
Right.
But at the same token, he's known what I've done from day one. I never hid it from him. He actually knew what I did prior to that because I met him through a friend.
Right.
So he was already well aware of what I was doing. And, I don't hide it. Just,
right.
You can't come in and say, oh, what's going on here? You can't really do that when your name's everywhere, and plus when you put yourself out like that. Yeah. I've been pretty vocal and pretty, open in that way because this is not about that type of sexual stimulation.
Right.
Like I put I don't hide my face in my advertising or anything like that.
Right.
I don't do that because I like doing what I'm doing, and I'm proud that I turn around and I see this.
Yes.
Like I don't think that there's anything bad about it. I don't. So why should I be secretive about it like that?
Well, that ties it. I don't know, Jordan, if you want to ask something, but I have to ask because it is not right. It is not that kind of how would you put it? Sex-based activity, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's within the realm of sexuality, but it's not prostitution.
But it's not. Yeah.
So
it is, and it's not. Like
right.
It's just really that.
I mean, do you have any? Because if you think of like what prostitution is, just in terms of the mechanics, right? Like guy and girl, sex exchange for money. It's like nothing. If you just take it at face value, it's just like vaginal intercourse, right? But what you do is arguably much more severe, right? It's way more severe, but
a little bit more thought in it.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's not illegal, right? So, like, any thoughts on that? Like, why?
Sorry, it's not what?
It's not illegal.
Oh, illegal.
Yeah.
No.
So, so any thoughts on why that's illegal but what you do, which is, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, arguably more severe and more detriment, is okay. Like any.
Well, this is the thing,
Right.
okay, and things that I stay away from. Okay, I don't do strap-on play like that, and the reason I don't is because now that prostitution is legal, the argument is that you're sticking something into somebody, or they're sticking something into you. That is intercourse. If you were to turn around and have, like, whether it's oral or other ways, it's the insertion that's the problem. So Madame Jassad, that's why she was arguing about, made to get prostitution legal. Excuse me. Was she was saying it's just a piece of plastic. What difference what the piece of plastic is? And then there's the argument of, well, it's shaped like a penis, it represents this. Well, so is a cucumber, right? If I violated somebody with a cucumber, would that be the same thing, right? So that's what it is. So there's certain things that I stay away from, only for legal reasons like that. Like, I've had my house broken into and things stolen, and the police came out and so forth, and they've even said it's not illegal. They've always known where I was. You got to think about it. I ran for mayor.
Yes. That's right.
If there was if I was doing something illegal at that point,
yeah,
like,
right.
At that point, whether it's legal or whether it's not legal, I couldn't say I'm a drug dealer going to go and run for mayor. So that, I think, solidifies it in so many ways, that this is not sex. It's not about that.
Right.
It's not about that. It's all about, mind. The mind.
Like, was that offer genuine to Ford?
Yeah.
When you went to beat him into shape or something like that?
Yeah.
Like what would that have involved?
Well, he's a pretty big guy for it, so I was sort of looking forward to it a little bit, but it's so funny. Like, I think his punishment has, he got his crown stripped from him, and now he's pretty sick. So
right.
I mean, at one point, his ego was just way too up there, and that's the thing. As a politician, he's still he's a good politician, right? The whole thing with Ford, and when people, were going off about it, so what? Honestly, like, so what? He was obviously on his off time. His stupid fault was he shouldn't have been dealing from 16-year-old Somali pirates. Like, what the hell? I can't believe that guy, with all the connections he knows, doesn't know some bigger kingpin or something like that he could have had, a better like supplier demand relationship or whatever with. Like, if I was Ford, I'd say, okay, there, the money's in the backyard, drop it off, right there in the backyard. If I was his drug dealer, I'd be giving him bunny slippers and making sure he had fresh squeezed orange juice. Because for a fact, he wasn't going there to buy a 10-piece. Like, what the hell? Like, look at what happened all through that. So the fact that he actually was going to that type of criminal, if he was going to choose to do what he was going to do, I mean, he put himself in that position, right? So that was, really stupid. But in the end, he was on his own time. Like, we have to remember that he was on his own time. He was, whatever he does at his point after work is his thing. If it does affect his work and he's either missing days or he, I don't know, not showing up, just things like that, then that's affecting his work and it becomes a problem. There's a lot of people out there that drink every day and are functioning alcoholics. Right. Surprise. And, or addicted to cigarettes and they can't handle sitting still for a moment. Then, it'll affect their work. So it doesn't matter. Something happens, whether you have to have a coffee first thing in the morning because you're just such a bitch that I don't drink coffee. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm always nice.
I'm that bitch with the coffee for sure.
Yeah, and you can't. You're mean to somebody. You won't hold the elevator. You're like slam the door, like. Sorry. And that's affecting your work, and that's affecting your ability and your relationship like that. So we have to remember that what he was doing. That's how he relaxed, I guess. May not be that conventional, but it was still it was his time. So, and whoever gave those shots out, and even with him being drunk at his house watching Sunday football, are you kidding me? How many people get drunk and watch Sunday football? Come on, look at the tailgate parties. They have parties outside the arena. Is it meant for you to have one beer and that's it and not get drunk? Like, some people are responsible, some people are, but that's their fun, that's their outlet and everything like that. What's the difference? He's in his home.
Yeah.
He's in his own living room. Like, even with his sister's basement. He's in his sister's basement.
Right.
Right?
No, I know. I think that's why he won in his writing again, because some of the people recognize that that's not.
Yeah, they're talking about the politics. Like, that aren't we here for that purpose? It's politics. Worry about your taxes. Worry about who's collecting your garbage. Worry about who's doing that. Right? The more money you have, you think the rich don't do some of these things in that way? They just have more money to build bigger fences. That's what they have so that they can contain it.
And hide it.
That's right. And in Ontario housing, they only, they give you there's no fencing in it. So that's just what that is. So,
Yeah.
It's the matter at hand.
For sure. So, go ahead. No, I have a question, but I'll wait. Go ahead. Yeah. Here. You want?
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little bit off topic, but the name Mizz Barbie Bitch. I mean, I think I know why you went with that.
Mizz. You always save the best for last.
Mizz.
Right.
You
but
do.
The conception of that name.
Okay, well, because I was part of Ken and Barbie, and I had to break up with Ken because Ken had some serious issues that became my issues because he was taking my finances. So regardless of the fact that I may not have been participating with him, it still was my issue when I couldn't pay my rent. So I had to get rid of him. And I changed my name to The Matrix because the Matrix had come out at that time. And everybody would ask me, so who, you're new, who are you before? And when I would tell them who I was, like, people still remember the ads for Ken and Barbie, which I'm shocked at, and from that. And then Rich was my last name. In school, everyone would turn around and they'd attach the R and make it a B. Because my last name is German. So it's not spelt how a Canadian or a Western person would have it spelled. Like, clearly it wasn't their first language. So it's spelt like how it sounds. Like, what the heck? So that's how come I got that. Okay. Like, every kid I had did that to me. Every single one of them. So I was like a ugly fat kid that wore glasses.
So now you're kind of like owning the name.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Can't be what you do if you're not, if you're not a bitch. And that's why I put my name on my sleeve. I wear my emotions on it. So I'm pretty crafted that way. Like, I put some thought into things.
It's kind of ironic at the same time. I guess maybe there's different meanings of that word bitch because, in effect, you're turning your subs into a bitch. But
they're mine.
Yeah. Like, there's two kinds of bitches going on.
Yeah. They're mine, yeah. That's what, and one thing even too why I chose pink and why I have to be very specific about my pink, right? Because I'm not a baby, and I'm a baby pink, that light pink.
Right.
I muted. It's not muted in any way. Yeah. It's vibrant, and pink. When you think about getting hit and stuff like that, and beat, it's pink, right? You go black and blue, but I mean, you think, your marks they're pink, right? They're quite intense. And red is just too equated with one sector. What you think about, you go to the red light district because it's about that. Yeah. And nope, you can still go to this district, but guess what? It's like the pink's in front of it, and they're, the red's in the back, in the back. So it's kind of quite crafted. And this is a vampire world,
Right.
What I do. Like, most of the doms all look like, they're very gothic. And that's something I'm not.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I noticed a lot of that at the sex show. Like, there is that undercurrent of, like, the goth subculture. Mm-hmm. You went through that period in the 90s in Toronto. I understand was like quite a hub for the goth scene in that time, the 90s?
Well, I was a heavy metaler, you know, with the big hair
Right.
and the frilled jacket. That was me, right?
Yeah.
I was always in the like glam, my mom is English, but my dad is Spanish, so I have very very Mediterranean looking. So it was never, you know, it was never a look that I could really generally achieve. So I didn't really have that vampire thing.
Yeah. But do you think, like, looking back in the night, did the kink movement in Toronto come out of the metal goth scene?
Well, I think in a way, because there used to be a bar called Rock and Roll Heavens. Like Yonge Street used to be a very cool place, right? And at that time, we still had the variance in, if you were a funker, you dressed one way. If you were a rocker, you
Right,
dressed another way.
Yeah.
If you were, you know, like a new wave kid, you
Yeah.
always had that. You knew who you were. You could associate what type of music you liked by your fashion.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
exactly.
it's just so muted and all together.
Yes.
It's really hard to turn around and you know, say that, hey, you can kind of tell. I noticed that the heavy metal look is kind of coming back.
Yeah.
The long hair, and you know, the rock T-shirts and so forth,
Yeah.
and the lumberjack wear. Like I remember, you know, growing up, you had your lumberjack and Kodiaks and your jean jacket, or your leather jacket and your rock patches. Like that look is actually,
Yeah.
it's actually
It's
back.
all mishmashy. Like, I
Yeah.
gotta, you know, that reminds me, I have to show you at some point Tommy Lee Sparta. Tommy Lee, not as in Motley Crue, but Tommy Lee Sparta as in the reggae artist.
There's
Who's
the reggae artist called Tommy.
yeah, yeah. He's like one of, I would say, yeah, if not the first, one of the first gothic reggae artists who's really controversial because Jamaica, the culture there is so religiously informed.
Yeah.
So for them, it's, you know, a pure representation of evil, the devil.
Oh yeah.
Scary, yeah. But he makes good music. Definitely, I'm a fan. But yeah, the last question part I want to ask you, unless Jordan, you have.
Well, I definitely have a last question.
Yeah, no, this is I'm very concerned.
Okay.
I'm very concerned.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, Barbie, of your safety. So, I mean, these guys, they come in, they say they want to be humiliated, but when you're beating on someone for long enough, it's conceivable that they might, you know,
Snap.
yeah, they might attack. Like they didn't think they would, but here they are. You know, they're going to survival mode, whatever you want to call it. So, how do you deal with that? Do you have security? Do you have, like, who would you call, or how do you make sure that you're protected?
You usually know if someone's crazy right off on the bat on the phone. Like you pick it up. It's weird. It's like radar.
Right.
You know, it's like that. I haven't had that happen. I have had a situation where I had to throw somebody out. This is when I was doing the Ken and Barbie thing, and he was so weird. He had like his aviators on. He looked, you know, oh God, he looked like the guy from, ever seen Human Centipede, the second Human Centipede, the actor.
Yeah.
He looked just like that. And he sat down, he got undressed, and he goes, how much to suck my dick? I go, I don't do that. And he put down $100 bill. He goes, how much to suck, you know, for me to suck his dick? I go, I don't do that. He put down like $300. Then he asked me the question a third time, put down another $300. And he had just paid me for the session. Turned around and picked up the $700, gave him back his money, and kicked him right out. I said, you gotta go. That's it. Kept his money because it says on it in my ads, don't ask, don't try, don't bother, right? So as far as I'm concerned, you lost your money at that point. Keep your $700 for your other thing, but I'm keeping my session, and you're getting the hell out of my house.
Right.
So you had your choice, right? Even if they ask me on the phone that, like,
It's
can I
funny
lick you
that-
or something, I just hang up. I don't even bother.
It's funny enough. I mean, strange that I guess you have some guys who think I'll be the special one, right? I'll be the one who will change her. She will make the exception for me because I'm so great, right? Or like different. They have almost like a savior complex, you know, like I will, you know.
Or I'm a student. Will you do this for me? Or
Right.
or do you have a, I'm going to keep coming to you for forever. It's like, well, you know what? Bring your coffee card in, and the 10th one that you get your coffee card free. Don't you have to go 10 times before you get that coffee?
Right.
You want me to give you a discount at the moment when I've never even seen you? No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Can I do
Yeah.
that at your job if I go to your job? Can
Wow.
I do that?
Yeah.
Listen, you work a 20-hour week or a 40-hour week, and I'm going to just pay you for 20, okay? Because I'm going to let you be here and let you do the work for us. That you should be lucky. So I do get that, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But like in terms of danger, like I mean, if some guy were to like turn violent or something like that, like what do you do if you're like there by yourself?
Usually they're tied up, so it's kind of hard.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they're usually tied up and like nuts in an electric fire, something that's electric. So it's not.
They're not really in a position.
They're not really in a position for that. But knock on wood, though. So,
Yeah.
So what's actually coming out of their mouth when you're tortured? Because like when someone's getting tortured, they're swearing all the time. But are these guys are like, yeah, this is great. Like what verbally? Like
thank
how
you,
do
Mr. They call me thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Yeah, they always say thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so it's
Thank
like
you.
gratitude. They're expressing
Yeah.
gratitude. It's never like stop
Yeah.
that and
Yeah, no.
yeah.
No, they're there for they're there for the
Wow.
they're there for the beatings.
No, it's so fascinating. The world of of Dom.
The world of Tom.
Yeah.
So
What about? I have
okay.
to ask this. Bob seems to be like one of the main.
Yeah, he's a main dude.
Does he get jealous of? Does he?
Bob's had his temper tantrums, for sure. Yeah.
Like because you have other clients, obviously. Does Bob get jealous of?
No, they're, you know what? Sometimes it does happen,
Right.
but they're in a general understanding that, Bob's definitely one of the closer ones. Another one that I had that actually just retired after 10 years of like some pretty solid servitude there, which I knew was going to happen because he retired 2 years ago, and then his wife was going to retire this year. So I knew that was happening. But, usually your window for letting the ones a few in like that, like Bob's been with me 20 years. He helped me build my first piece of equipment
Oh,
in
yes.
my mom's garage. Remember, we spray painted it.
Amazing.
And then when we lifted the garage, I didn't put down anything on the floor. I lifted the cross up, and there's this big outline. Yeah.
Oh,
And the first time doing it, too, I did it for my height. And I thought, oh, yeah, guys, they'll have a longer height. So I
right.
learned there. And then leaning back on the cross. When you lean back, you need to have something to lean back on. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I got to build a frame for that. So
I do have to ask you about your mom because when I saw her, like she ran away from me. She was because she knew we were doing a documentary. Is she like? What is her attitude towards it?
oh my
So-
God, my mother goes on about $60,000 worth of education in your head, and this is what you're doing.
All right. But at the same time, I kind of felt like there's some degree of support. She's there
Yeah,
at the sex
yeah.
show. She's sitting at the booth.
Oh yeah, are you kidding? Her
Yeah.
friends, some of them, like they know who I am. I give them tickets to go every year,
Right.
and they think of me like a celebrity. It's
Yeah,
so bizarre.
For sure.
That's really bizarre. Like, I don't know. I never think about things like that
Yeah.
way. But I guess it's not really the everyday. This isn't the everyday occupation. And I do bake too, by the way.
You're nice.
Yeah. When TLC came down, I had these
Oh.
brownies made, like from this place called Mabel's. They make the best brownies, and I
Oh.
had them put my name on them. I put Mizz Barbie Bitch on all these.
Oh,
recipes.
nice.
wow.
Yeah, it's really funny. There's a picture of me holding it for them.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
So like desserts and stuff.
Yeah. I had them write on every single one of them my name.
Wow. I remember somehow seeing that. I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's actually it's pretty good.
But currently, you have a permanent dungeon that you operate
Downtown.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is downtown. Okay. Yeah, no, but that's great. That's all I have to say for now. I really enjoy.
Yeah, so I guess like like you said, save the best for last.
Yeah. See?
We've talked about this before, but I feel
Yeah.
it's important to talk about
Yeah.
right now. Castration,
Okay.
because it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something I never thought. I mean, I never really thought about. I guess
We can make that a possibility, Jordan.
Well, I'm the thinking about is a possibility, not the end. Well, we'll see. We'll see after this discussion how I feel about it.
Why don't you do like everybody else and volunteer their friends? It's like when I was cattle prodding people at the,
right.
at
That's
the
right.
X. Everybody likes to volunteer their friend. Their friend will be like not looking. They're looking everywhere else. They're usually behind their friend and they're like, he wants it done. He wants it done. The friend totally oblivious.
I think I even said that
Yeah.
about Paul. I said one day you
Everybody
should
does
cattle
that.
prod Paul.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody says that. Everybody volunteers everybody else.
Right. Yes.
But the more people, it's funny because even the commercial for the sex show is like, if you thought cattle prods, like I know exactly where that came from. It's the only one with one of those in there running around like that. How many people will try it? And look at the people that will try it too. You just would not think. You'd be like, okay, you're actually gonna attempt this? Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh yeah, and they
different
flock
ones.
like sheep. Like, they put their hands up like I'm giving them the breath of life. It's like, come, my flock, please.
Right.
So they
Wakes you up.
yeah. You see, that's what you should try instead of coffee. It's cheaper.
Yeah, that's right. It's just quicker too. Just you're ready to
Actually, it's funny. The blue one that I have, right? It's called the blue one, right? And it's got the American flag on it and everything. Yeah, I had to think long and hard. What should we call this cattle prod? The blue one. It's like, that's like zero imagination there. The blue one. No, not like SB8, like, you know what I mean, a serial
Yeah.
model or nothing. Just
The blue one.
the blue one.
Oh, it's easy to identify.
It's easy. Yeah, it's on the side of it too. It's like I thought that is fantastic. Make it as simple as you can for like the farmer. I guess they feel that they want to make it very simple. It's just,
When you were seeing the prods and stuff on Bob, I have to say, like, I know it's all consensual and everything, but like after a while, I started feeling pity for Bob. Is that part of the act? I feel sorry for him now. Like he's
no, Bob
twitching.
loves it.
Like when he's twitched,
Well,
he
yeah.
went, like it was really sad. I was like, this is. I feel like I know he wants it, but this is making me sad. But is that when you're doing that? Is that the effect you're trying to create for the audience?
You have to see the reason he's twitching back and forth is because
Right.
the electrical things are
Yes.
going obviously back and forth.
Right.
But Bob loves the electrical. I pierced his nipples for his 50th birthday.
Oh, really?
Bob, show me your boobs. Show me your boobs. This is what he gave him as a birthday present for his 50th birthday. 100 years ago.
Wow. You did that yourself?
Yeah, I do piercings. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Would you like a pair?
No, I don't. I'm afraid. That would be too much.
Are you there?
No, it's just I'm thinking about tattoos and stuff right now too, because like I like
We
tattoos.
could tattoo. Oh my God, we should tattoo like nipple rings on your head.
Hey, there we go.
I couldn't go that far, but I have at least the tattoos. Yeah. Yeah. No,
But castration.
Yeah, let's go back to
Yeah,
castration. Let's go back to the question.
Yeah. So it's it's something that you've done
Yeah.
to a handful of people,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and this is their request.
Yep.
Now, can you talk us through the step by step? Like, someone comes to you,
Mm-hmm.
they say, "Let's do it next Tuesday." Is that how it works?
Well, they've been seeing me for a few years. I
Yeah.
told you that.
Yeah.
And in each session, as we go on and progress, right, and we're talking a few years. It's not that I've like I said, once it's gone, it's gone. So you gotta seriously, this can't just be a fantasy. So say towards the actual event of it and so forth, you'll come see me a little bit more frequently, and basically what I'll start to do is start to give you, like, just boost up your pain tolerance, whether it's with hammers and stuff like that. Like I try to basically deaden all the nerves on the tip, because you can go down further, but then it becomes very complicated and a lot more surgically involved.
Mm-hmm.
You can kill the head of your penis and still have a totally workable shaft, totally workable shaft that will, operate, work, everything like that. But you have to deaden the head first. So I have to tie it off, and it gets tied off for a few days. And basically what happens is it just dies. And you cut it off. And when you cut it off, you have to put a catheter in. But you cut all around it, and then you cauterize it. And you'd be surprised. It's like, it comes off really easy, and well, so they say, with very little pain.
So when the penis is removed, what do you do with the penis?
They usually, I haven't had, like, I would like to have kept one, but it's theirs, right? They want it, it's theirs.
Do you know what they do with it? Do they put it
I
on
have no
the
idea.
mantelpiece, or like?
It might, because that's a big trophy for them, right? It's a huge souvenir.
Yeah.
At that point, their wife must know.
I think at that point they probably don't have a wife.
Like, where did you go?
Yeah, I think they don't have one. Like the guy that I saw that ended up by shooting off his leg, right? Like I was seeing him and doing amputations on his toes and fingers.
Wow.
Right, and then he was in a special, actually. I think it was on Discovery Channel. He was a farmer, and he took the shotgun and just said the desire for him got just so strong to do it. Wow. And he took the shotgun and blew this part of his leg off.
Wow, that's hardcore.
That's really hardcore.
Very hardcore.
Yeah. It
Jeez.
sucked because I was seeing him quite a bit, too. At that point, it was like, client lost. Yeah. God damn it. He's trying to savor the moment there. Yeah. But he really wanted it. And then that same episode, they had a guy that, there's a tattoo artist that does tattoos by shooting you. He'll shoot you through the shoulder, and the scars, after it heals, he'll do the tattoo around and on the scar, and he incorporates the scar.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember. I have to remember what that was. I'm going to have to dig that episode up.
Is this a real gun?
A real gun, a real shotgun, a double-barrel shotgun that he did his leg with.
That's, wow. So I wasn't even aware that you did like amputations.
There was one point I was doing a lot of it, actually.
Yeah.
Something you still do, or?
Right?
I still do it. I don't see it. I don't really have those people very much anymore like that. I don't know why.
Is that similar to the castration thing though?
The castration, definitely.
You'd have to know them for a long time.
Oh
before
yeah.
You amputate, or
yeah. Are you kidding? Absolutely. And for them, it's a real process. Like they just. It's funny. I think it was in the Goodfellas where the. Paul Sorvino, the Don, he was cutting the garlic with the razor.
Right.
It's just like that. It's just like that for them. And they like.
That's a famous scene. Yeah, I met him on a plane.
Me too.
Oh, you did meet him as well?
Me too. That scene very much, really sums it up.
That must take a pretty tough stomach.
Seen quite a bit. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, I was so fascinated. It's like, you want to do this? Okay, let's do it. Like, I want to see the inside of you, right? As opposed to just the outside. So for me, it was just a fascination.
Wow. So, yeah. So it's with amputation. Is that limited to like fingers and toes, or
fingers and toes?
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers and toes.
Like you wouldn't do an arm.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah, I do have a limitation.
Because you read about people in these paraphilia writings about like they have these desires to be like amputated.
Yeah.
All four limbs.
Yeah. See, that is way too much work in that way. Right. And you have to really, you have to have that, number one, everything tied off, right? Especially depending on where you're going on the leg. You really do have to have the right surgical tools for that. You can't just use, a miter saw. You really need something at that point that's pretty, that you can only get one way. And that's safe. That's the thing. You need to cut the bone so that the bone is really smooth and not like broken up into splinters, because that's a problem. So there's actual work that has to be involved with that. And you really do need a little bit of a team. And, I do have a team, but it's not, 10 people strong with surgical knowledge.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking. This card is running out like 3 minutes.
Yeah. So it's a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking the time to do this. It's truly fascinating.
You're welcome. I know Bob's getting he's getting a little restless.
Yeah, I could see. I see.
Yeah.
No, but we'll let Bob do his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming too, Bob.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Thanks.
Everything is occupied right now.
Okay.